I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to Tuesday's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, if you have a Bible with you, please turn to the book of Genesis, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Dieselkamp for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 61st lesson in our study of Genesis. Yesterday we covered Genesis chapter 18, verses 22 to 33, discussing how Abraham negotiated with God to spare Sodom if God found 10 righteous souls living there. If you missed that episode and would like to watch it, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on our website at www.eastendchurch.org. You can also find them on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/EastEndChurchOfChrist under the Walking Through the Bible Genesis playlist. Today we're going to begin with Genesis 19 verse 1 and read through verse 14. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the English Standard Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Genesis 19, beginning at verse 1. The two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting at the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them and bowed himself with his face to the earth and said, "My lords, please turn aside to your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet. Then you may rise up early and go on your way." They said, "No, we will spend the night in the town square." But he pressed them strongly, so they turned aside to him and entered his house. And he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. But before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both young and old, all the people to the last man, surrounded the house. And they called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us, that we may know them." Lot went out to the men at the entrance, shut the door after him, and said, "I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. Behold, I have 2 daughters who have not known any man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do to them as you please. Only do nothing to these men, for they have come under the shelter of my roof." But they said, "Stand back." And they said, "This fellow came to sojourn, and he has become the judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them." Then they pressed hard against the man Lot, and drew near to break the door down. But the men reached out their hands and brought Lot into the house with them, and shut the door. And they struck with blindness the men who were at the entrance of the house, both small and great, so that they wore themselves out, groping for the door. Then the men said to Lot, "Have you anyone else here, sons-in-law, sons, daughters, or anyone you have in the city? Bring them out of the place, for we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry against his people has become great before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it." So Lot went out and said to his sons-in-law, who were to marry his daughters, "Up, get out of this place, for the Lord is about to destroy the city." But he seemed to his sons-in-law to be jesting. In this chapter, we meet up with the 2 men who left Abraham and God in chapter 18. Here we are told that they were angels. They were sent by God to Sodom to confirm the great outcry of sin that had come before the Lord. As we said in Lesson 59, it's not that the Lord didn't know what was going on, but he was showing to us and Abraham that his judgment would be righteous and that he would actually come to see the city's wickedness before destroying it. Now the chapter does not say that the Lord, in the form of that 3rd man, ever came to Sodom, but that's not to say that he didn't. However, regardless of that fact, God sent 2 angels to Sodom, and their report would be all that God required to satisfy his justice. When the angels got there, it was evening, and just like Abraham, Lot wanted to show these men hospitality. These 2 men initially said no, presumably because their task was to view the city and report on its wickedness, something they couldn't really do if they were in Lot's house. Lot prevailed on them, though, and they agreed to enter Lot's house, and Lot prepared a feast for them. Now the men of Sodom had noticed the 2 men enter the city, and so go to Lot's house, and demanded that Lot allow these men to come out so that they may know them. To know someone is a biblical euphemism for sex. These men practiced homosexuality and abomination before the Lord. Lot refused and went so far as to offer his virgin daughters as an alternative, an offer that would have been equally sinful, but probably done by Lot out of fear. The men of the city, angry with Lot, said that because he sought to judge them, they'd deal worse with Lot than with the two men. But before the men of the city had the opportunity to harm Lot, the two angels grabbed Lot and pulled him inside. They then struck the men of the city with blindness. This curse was not a punishment for their homosexual behavior, but a way to save Lot from being harmed. The angels, however, had seen enough. The city of Sodom's sins were grievous, and the Lord would be justified in destroying the city. They told Lot to get his family together and flee the city, something we'll take up with in the next episode. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, Lord willing, tomorrow, and we will continue our study of Genesis, beginning with Genesis 19:15.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below or email us at answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we'll be continuing our study of the book of Genesis. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor